We've all heard it before. Go to therapy. But what if you do everything right? Find a therapist, show up every week, do the homework, and still feel stuck? The truth is, therapy isn't just about attending sessions. Sometimes unseen barriers within us make healing harder, and it's not because we're broken or not trying hard enough. Psychology, biology, and even our environment can hold us back in ways we don't realize. Let's break down why therapy sometimes fails, even when you're giving it your all. Therapy assumes you're ready, but are you? The readiness trap. Therapy often works best when you're in the action stage, ready to make changes. But psychologist James Prochaska's research shows only 20% of people are actually in this stage at any given time. For example, say someone is in therapy to quit drinking but secretly worries about losing their social life. They might not fully commit to quitting yet, even if they logically know they should. This isn't laziness, it's just that their brain is still weighing the pros and cons. Therapy can feel frustrating when you're not quite ready to take action yet. The key is recognizing where you are and working with it instead of forcing yourself into changes you're not ready for. Your brain resists change. Your brain is wired for stability. Chronic stress actually shrinks the prefrontal cortex, the part that helps with decision-making and self-control. If you've been dealing with anxiety or trauma for years, your brain might instinctively resist change, even if you consciously want it. Therapy isn't just about gaining insight. Your brain has to physically rewire itself, which takes time and the right conditions. The good client problem. Many people unknowingly perform in therapy, nodding, agreeing, and saying what they think their therapist wants to hear. A 2019 study found that 30% of clients withhold important feedback out of fear of judgment. If you're not honest about what's not working, therapy can turn into an expensive routine with little real progress. Your attachment style, how you connect with others, affects how you respond to therapy. If you have an avoidant attachment style, a warm, emotionally expressive therapist might make you uncomfortable. If you're anxiously attached, a detached, analytical therapist might make you feel abandoned. Understanding these differences can help explain why some therapy relationships don't click. Cultural differences can block understanding. If your therapist doesn't share the same background as you, they might misinterpret your experiences. For example, someone from a marginalized group might feel misunderstood by a therapist who doesn't acknowledge societal challenges they face. Research shows that clients who don't feel understood or validated may disengage more quickly from therapy. Therapy type matters more than you think. Therapy works through different mechanisms of change. Some people process emotions best through talking, while others need action, movement, or creativity. A study found that matching therapy style to a person's processing style increases success by 40%. But many clients may struggle if their therapy approach doesn't align with how they process emotions. When your environment works against you. The goblin mode, barrier. Therapy assumes you have the mental energy to do the work, but if you're sleep deprived, constantly on social media, or socially isolated, your brain might not have the bandwidth. Chronic exhaustion reduces prefrontal cortex activity by 60%, making it much harder to engage in therapy. No amount of deep conversations can replace basic needs like sleep, food, and human connection. Real-life struggles can override therapy. You can't journal your way out of poverty. If you're working 3 jobs, dealing with unsafe living conditions, or caring for family members under stress, therapy's focus on self-care might feel unrealistic. Not because they're less committed, but because real-life stressors make it harder to focus on healing. The stigma that holds you back. If you've grown up hearing that therapy is for weak people, you might unconsciously resist fully engaging. According to research, self-stigma reduces therapy effectiveness by 35%, since people who feel ashamed of needing help often struggle to commit to the process. Your brain and personality play a bigger role than you think. Overthinking therapy can backfire. If you're naturally anxious or prone to overanalyzing, therapy can actually make things worse. People high in neuroticism sometimes take therapy concepts, like attachment styles or self-reflection, and use them as fuel for self-criticism. Therapy should help you heal, not make you obsess over every minor flaw. Some people struggle to identify feelings. About 1 in 10 people have alexithymia, a neurological trait that makes it hard to identify or describe emotions. If you've ever struggled with questions like, how does that make you feel? It's not that you're bad at therapy. Your brain might process emotions differently. This can lead to frustration during sessions, as the process of verbalizing emotions may feel out of reach. ADHD and traditional therapy don't always mix. People with ADHD often struggle with therapy's structure, forgetting homework, zoning out, or needing more interactive methods. A 2020 study found that ADHD clients are 50% more likely to drop out of therapy unless sessions are adapted to their needs. The role of hormones and medication. Your brain chemistry plays a huge role in how therapy works for you. If you have low serotonin or dopamine, therapy alone might not be enough, especially for conditions like major depression or ADHD. Studies show that therapy combined with the right medication is often more effective than either alone. If you feel like therapy isn't sticking, it might be worth exploring biological factors. If therapy hasn't worked for you, it doesn't mean you failed. It could mean that you need a different therapy style, for example, movement-based therapy instead of talk therapy, or your brain needs extra support such as medications, or your environment is making healing harder. Healing isn't about pushing through therapy, it's about finding what actually helps you. Therapy is a tool, not a test. Your worth isn't its report card. If you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe for more.